Tommy lived in a farmhouse old as secrets. It stood at the edge of the world, or so it seemed to him. The house had seen generations come and go, each leaving behind whispers of their lives in its creaking walls and dusty corners. The farmhouse was a relic, a testament to a time long past, yet it was Tommy's entire universe. It creaked with every gust of wind. The sound was almost like a voice, a ghostly reminder of the house's age and the secrets it held. On stormy nights, the wind would howl through the cracks, making the house groan and shudder as if it were alive. The fields stretched out like a rumpled blanket. They were vast and seemingly endless, rolling out to meet the horizon. In the early morning, a thick mist would settle over them, giving the landscape an ethereal quality. It was a sight that never failed to captivate Tommy. They ended at the edge of whispering woods. The forest was a dark, looming presence at the boundary of the farm, its trees tall and ancient. The woods were a place of mystery and, to Tommy, a source of endless fascination and fear. The woods were ancient and deep. They were filled with shadows and secrets, a place where the light of day barely penetrated. The trees stood like silent sentinels, guarding whatever lay within. It was said that the woods were haunted, and Tommy could believe it. Tommy wasn't supposed to go there. His parents had warned him time and again to stay away from the woods. They told him stories of people who had ventured in and never returned. But the woods called to him, a siren song that was hard to resist. The farmhouse was his whole world. It was a place of comfort and safety, filled with the warmth of family and the smell of home-cooked meals. Every corner of the house held a memory, every creak of the floorboards a story.
I spent my days exploring the barn, chasing field mice, and pretending I was a great adventurer. The barn was a world of its own, filled with hidden nooks and crannies, each one a potential hiding spot for treasure or a secret passage to another realm. And sometimes I'd just sit by the window and watch the crows. They fascinated me, those black birds with their sharp eyes and knowing looks. They seemed to be watching me just as intently as I watched them. They were always there, black as night, watching. They perched on the fence posts and the branches of the old oak tree, their presence a constant in my life. There was something almost comforting about their watchfulness.
Tommy didn't mind the crows. In fact, he had grown quite fond of them. They were like silent guardians, always there, always watching. He felt a strange kinship with them, as if they understood him in a way no one else did. He was used to their presence. They were as much a part of his world as the farmhouse and the fields. He would often walk among them, feeling their eyes on him, a silent acknowledgement of his place in their world. They were as much a part of the farm as the cows and the chickens. The animals seemed to accept the crows as part of the natural order of things, and so did Tommy. It was a delicate balance, a harmony that had always existed. But lately, something had changed. They were different. There was an unease in their movements, a restlessness that hadn't been there before. It was as if they were trying to tell him something important. And Tommy couldn't shake the feeling that whatever it was something he needed to understand. It started subtly, a tilt of the head as Tommy passed, a chorus of caws that followed him as he walked the fields. Then, the crows began to congregate. They perched on the fence posts, their black eyes fixed on Tommy.
One afternoon, while chasing a butterfly, I realized I was surrounded. Dozens of crows formed a circle around me. They didn't caw, didn't move, just watched me with an unnerving intensity.
Tommy wasn't afraid, not exactly. But he felt a shiver crawl down his spine. This wasn't normal, even for the crows. He ran back to the farmhouse, their silent gaze burning into his back. The next morning, Tommy found a dead crow in the yard. Its wings were splayed, feathers scattered by the wind. Its eyes, usually bright and sharp, were clouded over, empty.
Pa, there's a dead crow in the yard. The crows? They've been acting strange.
Crows are just birds, Tommy. Don't you go worrying your head about them.
But Tommy did worry. He couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. The crows were trying to tell him something. He just didn't know what. The crows became a constant presence. They followed him everywhere. When he went to the barn, they perched on the roof. When he sat by the window, they lined the fence posts. They were always watching, waiting.
One day, a particularly bold crow landed on the porch railing, just a few feet from me. It cocked its head, then hopped down and began to peck at the ground. It seemed insistent, almost desperate for me to follow.
Hesitantly, Tommy approached. The crow hopped a few feet, then looked back at Tommy as if urging him forward. Curiosity overriding his fear, Tommy followed. The crow led Tommy on a winding path through the fields, towards the edge of whispering woods. The fields were vast, stretching out like a golden sea under the setting sun. Each step Tommy took was filled with a mix of excitement and trepidation. He had heard stories about the whispering woods, tales of ancient spirits and hidden secrets. The crow, with its glossy black feathers, seemed almost otherworldly, guiding him with an uncanny intelligence. As they approached the forest, the trees loomed tall and foreboding, their branches intertwining like skeletal fingers. The air grew cooler, and the sounds of the fields faded, replaced by the rustling of leaves and distant, eerie whispers. The crow landed on the edge, its black eyes fixed on the dark depths below. Tommy hesitated for a moment, taking in the sight of the ancient well. It looked like it had been there for centuries, a relic from a forgotten time. The stones were worn and covered in moss, and the well seemed to exude a sense of mystery and foreboding. The crow cawed softly, as if urging him to look closer. Tommy took a deep breath and stepped forward, peering into the darkness. The well seemed bottomless, a void that swallowed the light. He could feel a strange energy emanating from it, a pull that was both fascinating and terrifying.
I've never been this close to the woods before. The stories always made it sound so dangerous, but now that I'm here, it feels different. There's something almost magical about this place, like it's alive and watching me.
The air grew colder, heavy with the scent of damp earth and decaying leaves. Finally, they reached a clearing. In the center stood an old well, its stone rim covered in moss and lichen. The clearing was bathed in a soft, ethereal light that seemed to come from nowhere. The trees around the clearing stood like silent guardians, their branches swaying gently in the breeze. Tommy felt a shiver run down his spine as he approached the well. It was as if the well was calling to him, whispering secrets from the past. He could almost hear faint voices like echoes from another time carried on the wind.
What is this place? It feels like I've stepped into another world. The air is so thick with mystery, and I can't shake the feeling that something is watching me. But I have to know what's at the bottom of that well.
Tommy peered into the well. It was deep and dark, the bottom lost in shadow. But then he saw it, a faint glimmer far below that seemed to pulse with an eerie light. The light was mesmerizing, shifting and changing like a living thing. It cast strange, dancing shadows on the walls of the well, creating an almost hypnotic effect. Tommy felt his heart race as he leaned in closer, trying to get a better look. The light seemed to be calling to him, drawing him in with its mysterious allure. He could feel a strange connection to it, as if it held the answers to questions he didn't even know he had.
What could that be? It's like nothing I've ever seen before. It's so beautiful, but also so strange. I feel like I have to find out what it is, no matter what.
His heart raced as he leaned closer, drawn to the mysterious glow from the depths of the whispering well. The mist around the well seemed to thicken, swirling in ghostly patterns. The whispers grew louder, more insistent, as if urging him to take the plunge. Tommy felt a mix of fear and excitement, a sense of destiny pulling him towards the unknown. He knew that whatever lay at the bottom of the well, it was something extraordinary, something that could change his life forever. With a deep breath, he made his decision. He would uncover the secrets of the whispering well, no matter the cost. That night, Tommy couldn't sleep. The image of the well, the pulsing light, was seared into his mind. He tossed and turned, the crow's insistent cawing echoing in his ears.
I dreamt of darkness, of being surrounded by a sea of black feathers. I dreamt of the well, its depths beckoning me closer, and in my dream, I heard a voice, whispering my name from the abyss.
When he woke, the sun was just beginning to rise, but the crows were already there, perched on his windowsill, their black eyes watching him. They seemed more agitated than usual, their caws sharper, more urgent. The following days were a blur of fear and fascination. The crows continued to lead Tommy to the well, their behavior growing more insistent with each passing day. The glimmer at the bottom seemed to grow brighter, pulsing with an unnatural light.
Sometimes, when I looked into the well, I thought I saw shapes moving in the darkness. Shadows that writhed and twisted, accompanied by whispers that sent chills down my spine.
He tried to tell his PA about the dreams, about the shadows and the whispers, but the words caught in his throat. How could he explain the unexplainable? The crows were relentless. Their black wings beat against the night sky, creating a symphony of dread that echoed through the village. Each night they gathered around the old well, their eyes gleaming with an unsettling intelligence. Their cawing filled his days, a constant, grating reminder of the darkness that lurked just beneath the surface of his seemingly peaceful life. It was as if they were trying to communicate something, a message that only he could decipher. Their presence a constant reminder of the well and the secrets it held. Tommy couldn't shake the feeling that the crows were watching him, waiting for him to make a move. The well had always been a place of mystery and fear, a forbidden spot that the villagers avoided. Tommy knew he couldn't ignore them any longer. The weight of their gaze pressed on him, urging him to uncover the truth. He had heard the stories, the whispers of something ancient and powerful lying at the bottom of the well. He had to see what lay at the bottom of that well, even if it terrified him. The fear gnawed at his insides, but so did the curiosity. What was it that the crows were so intent on guarding? What secrets did the well hold? Even if it terrified him, he knew he had to face it. The well had become an obsession, a dark shadow over his life that he could no longer ignore. He had to confront his fears and uncover the truth, no matter the cost.
One night, under the pale glow of the moon, I snuck out of the house. The air was cold and crisp, and the silence was only broken by the occasional rustle of leaves. My heart pounded in my chest as I made my way towards the well. I followed the familiar path to the well, my footsteps echoing in the stillness of the night. The path was overgrown and twisted, but I knew it by heart. Each step brought me closer to the truth, and closer to the fear that had haunted me for so long. The crows flanking me like macabre guardians. Their eyes glinted in the moonlight, and their cawing seemed to grow louder as I approached the well. It was as if they were urging me on, pushing me towards the inevitable confrontation.
As he peered into the depths, the glimmer pulsed brighter than ever. It was a light unlike any he had ever seen, a beacon that called to him from the darkness. The well seemed to come alive, its walls glowing with an eerie, otherworldly light. Illuminating the well with an eerie, otherworldly light. The glow was mesmerizing, and for a moment all his fear melted away. He felt a strange sense of calm, as if the light was reassuring him, guiding him towards the truth. The whispers grew louder, swirling around him like a vortex of fear. They seemed to come from the very depths of the well, voices from another time, another world. They called to him, urging him to take the final step, to descend into the unknown. Tommy's heart pounded in his chest. He felt a strange pull towards the well, an irresistible urge to climb over the edge and descend into the darkness. He took a step closer, mesmerized by the pulsing light.
The crows cawed loudly, their cries echoing in the night. But this time, there was something different in their tone. A warning or a farewell?
Tommy never found out, for at that moment the ground beneath him gave way. He tumbled into the darkness, the crow's frantic cries the last thing he heard before the abyss swallowed him whole.